All right, how much? How much does it cost? That's what the question is. How much does it cost to fish on the pro circuit? I tell you, I got that question this morning at the boat ramp coming out here. He was just curious. So I think it's a great question, but that question has evolved over the years, and it has gotten more expensive in some ways, and it's gotten actually less expensive in others. So to talk dollars and cents just for a minute, each tournament expense-wise is around $1,500 to $2,500. That's just what it costs, for lodging, gas, travel, tackle, things like that. Low end, $1,500, period. You can do it budget-wise and stay pretty low, but $2,500. If you're saying $3,500, you can cut a lot of costs. So, probably $2,000 to $2,500 is probably the average for me and most guys per tournament. That's not counting pre-fish or pre-practice or any of that kind of stuff. When I started out, we had 11 tournaments, 11 Elite Series. Well, it grew to 11 Elite Series tournaments early in my career. $55,000 in entry fees alone, times 11 events, times $2,000 or whatever the average was per event. Dude, that was expensive. Yes, the purses were bigger, and luckily I was catching them pretty good at that time, and I was actually making some decent money from the tournament winnings. But now we've had a lot happen in the last 20 years in tournament fishing in the Elite Series. We've gone to a reduced entry fee. We went to a no entry fee. That didn't last because it was just those payouts didn't work. So we made the math work with a $10,000 per year. That's all your entry fees are. This year, I finished 44th in the points. So decent year, not great year, not terrible. 44th in the points, and I think I won around 37,000. So I cleared 27,000 over top of entry fees. So you do the math just by the tournaments alone, not talking about sponsorships or promotional stuff. I was in the good. 15 to 20 grand to come out here, on tour, fish the Bassmaster Elite Series and without sponsorships and stay in the positive. I think that's good. It's not where everybody wants it to be, but you got to look at it this way. I'm out here for the last 25 years, out here living my dream and loving to fish tournaments, travel the country, meet great people all over the U.S. and all over the world. That is something that you can't replace. Now I've been gone a lot, so the cost of doing that, cost of living your dream, is that you don't get to see every one of your kids' baseball games. You don't get to see all of their basketball games, or or whatever they're into. You don't get to see them, but you get to get out here and lose a little tiny fish because you're not paying attention. But you get to get out here and be on the water and do some amazing things, see some amazing sights. Saw a bald eagle earlier. That was beautiful and amazing, and they're majestic every single time you see them. You get to catch and see all kind of fish. You get to see all kind of beautiful sunsets, sunrises, but you do miss a lot with your family. So there is a cost to that. But I always tell people, man, you could be out there selling boxes or selling tampons and spending just as much time away from your family and doing something that you absolutely despise or that you really don't like doing. I'd rather be out here living my dream and loving it. But it's a hard way to make a living. It really is. You have to hustle. You have to work the sponsor side. You have to do different things that most people don't see on the surface. A lot of people that are into it, they see it. They see what you have to do and how you have to work at all the outside stuff in order to make a living, doing seminars, doing YouTube videos, doing Facebook, doing this and doing that, trying to hustle and make sure that you keep everybody happy. You generate as much revenue as you can. You try to educate as many people, and do what you enjoy from that outside of the fishing part of it in order to make it work, in order to make it happen, in order to be able to pay the bills, all that kind of stuff. It just there is a lot to being a professional angler. But you look at the Elite Series this year, we're going to have 10 anglers get cut from the Bassmaster Elite Series this year. That is, it's sad in some ways. Some of my good friends are on that cut list. Now, some of them are fishing the EQs, so they could get back, but that's neither here nor there. Over the years, I've seen a lot of anglers come and qualify for the Elite Series, fish it for 2, 3, 4, 10 years, whatever, and then they either retire or they don't requalify, whatever the situation may be. It's kind of sad that they have to go, or they do go, but then again, they get to live their dream for however many years it is. Their dream was to come out here and compete on the Bassmaster Elite Series, to go out there and do it at the top level, to compete against the legends of the sport, to compete against the, whoever it might be, the Kevin Van Dams, or the Chris Johnstons, or the Trey McKinneys, next generation's superstars. They're going to compete against those guys to see where they stack up. And if you beat those dudes, man, that's saying something. The competition level right now on the Elite Series is unbelievable, and the chances of not doing well is greater and greater, I feel like, than it really ever has been. Everybody wants to point to Live Scope and talk about the cheater box and this and that and the other. That has nothing to do with how much I enjoy what I do. It has nothing to do with what the vast majority of all bass anglers that compete at the top level, it has nothing to do with what drives them. That's just part of the equation of bass fishing. It didn't always, and it's only going to be part of it next year, whatever. That's not, real bass anglers stay focused on what it takes to make that fish bite. I threw my drop shot over there next to that dock, and that little bass bit it. Maybe I'll fling it back over in that same spot. Maybe I'll fling around to try to see what I can do to make another one bite. But the cost of professional bass fishing, it's not cheap. These boats are unbelievably expensive nowadays. I was talking with that gentleman at the boat ramp this morning. Super nice guy, been fishing a long time, just like I have. He's been fishing way longer. When I started the bass boats, you could get a fully rigged 20-foot bass boat in the $30,000 range, $30,000 to $35,000. Man, you can't even hardly get a motor for that anymore, much less a hull. Now a competitive rig is over $100,000 or close to it. Doesn't have to be. You don't have to. You can do it on a budget. Absolutely, you can do it on a budget. But you've got a nickel and dime, and it just does raise the cost of getting into it. Some people are able to afford $150,000 bass boats. Cool, that's awesome. Great. Not everybody can, but you don't have to have that rig to go out there and enjoy and do the sport that we all love. You can go out there in a bass tracker and go for it, and compete locally, have a ball with it, enjoy it, still aspire to fish against the best, to move up, and you can hopefully go and do that. I think it's so cool. So the cost of professional bass fishing, some parts of it have raised higher, some parts of it are kind of the same, some parts of it have actually gone down. But I tell you, the cost of going through the rest of your life and not pursuing your dreams is probably a bigger burden, or AKA cost, than you could ever imagine. So whether your dream is to try to play professional baseball, professional golf, race go-karts, whatever it might be, pursue your dream and pursue your passion, because not doing it is probably the cost that you'll never ever be able to get back. That is a cost that you'll never ever be able to, if you lose your life savings because you went out there and pursued your dreams. You pursued your dreams. That's saying something. That you went for it, and you have nothing, no regrets. You have nothing to regret later on, and I just think that that's the cost of professional bass fishing, in my opinion.